Hello everybody, how are we doing? Oh my gosh, I'm on at 7 o'clock. I remembered to unmute and my iPad's working. The universe is upside down. Let's see how it goes. Antoine's on Twitch. Welcome to the stream. What's new? What's happening? Has your music gone viral yet? If you missed last week's chat, check out Antoine's music because it's awesome. Okay, now hang on a sec. Oh, there it is. iPad's got a bit of a delay. Not living for that, but we'll figure that out later. Okie dokie, artichoke. Okay, we're back today with some tarot. Oh, hang on. Thanks, sis, nothing much. Noah just spreading the music goes on. We'll see what happens next. Yes, exactly. Let it do its magic. What about me? Things are good. I had a good weekend, able to get out and about a little bit, but also get quite a bit done around here. Mother Nature's kind of drunk, so we're trying to get outside in the sun as much as we can when we're able to. We had snow and thunderstorms and heat and cold. We had everything this weekend, so we got outside a little bit, working on some arts, you know, just this and that. It's kind of nice. So I was realizing that we hadn't done some tarot in a while because I was taking a bit of a break and letting you guys see some other stuff, but now it's time to get back to it. I counted it and now I forget the number, somewhere between 15 to 20 of the cards left. We're almost there. There's a couple at the end now that I'm kind of just reshuffling, or I found that there was a couple of cards that I had similar content in, like there's like kind of like one cover, like one major arcana has a similar scene from another card, so I'm trying to switch a couple of those up so that it's not too much of the same for no reason. So we're just kind of like that little bit of nitpicky things, but we're down to the wire. We're coming down to it, and I'm hoping to meet my schedule of being done art very soon, so that I can put it all together and get the book started and everything else that goes with this, because it's not an insignificant amount of work left to get things up and running and ready for print in time for my November 1st launch date. So we still have much to do. So this card, I want to preface this a little bit. This card has had me stuck for a very long time. So anybody who has read The Night Circus will know that the opening bit of the circus has this clock. They describe it as a Runestrum clock. It's a German word that I have a very hard time with. Jim Dale slays it though, if you listen to the audiobook. But it would be better animated. So it's always like, as you go through the hours, book pages are flipping and dragons come in and out of the visibility. The teacups or teas being poured into teacups, all this other kind of stuff. So I wrote all the stuff down of what's in the book, and I was like, how am I going to show all this? What am I going to do? So I started sketching it out and using some references and trying to see how I could make it look like there's movement and things going on, but some things didn't feel like they fit with what I've been doing with the cards. So what I ended up doing was using a couple elements of what have been in the description. So like the chess pieces, they're going to come to play in a couple of cards that are still to come, but chess pieces are specifically on the clock, and the cup of tea as well, as always mentioned. But then what I did was I just kind of like scrapped that a little bit and scrapped everything else that's described in the book, and then went and fell back on the references of the content that I have been building for the deck so far, so that this will fit in. So some of the Firefly outputs I had these kind of like bird wings. So I was like, okay, perfect. We've done a lot of birds. I've reused some of the feather sketches that we've had. The cup of tea works really well because of the one that we have, the Tsukiko card with the cup of tea. We have the couple that I did on a card a couple weeks ago. The flowers I've used in very, very early cards. Books are here because they kind of come up So rather than kind of get stuck in the bits and pieces that are described in the book, and kind of I found I kept kind of like stalling out, I decided to just kind of follow through with what I'm comfortable with doing, and that is kind of making this fit into the deck and fit in with the cards and designs and everything that I've already used. So, and as soon as I kind of decided that, the ideas just started flowing, and I actually had to trim some out because it was getting a little chaotic. So another lesson in just kind of remove the roadblock if you can find it and go from there. So I'm just going to finish throwing in a little bit more of some stuff that I have just decided in the past 2 minutes that I want to have some stained glass impact here. And then we're going to get into some line art and things today. Just want to make sure that, okay, everything's streaming. I love it. Not everything played the game last week, so I'm glad that we're playing the game this week so far. All right. Making sure OBS working out. My iPad is very delayed, so I will try and fix that for next week. It's not performing in a delayed way, it's just displaying in a delayed way. So it's been busy, slowly getting back into the studio groove here. I was saying to some people, I was kind of took a break around the holidays, and I feel like I've been kind of struggling to get back into my groove that I had before, but that's okay. That means I took a good break, and we're going to be working to get things back on track here. Lots of stuff coming. Lots of applications for different markets and things. I'm trying to pull myself back. I said I didn't want to do anything over the summer because I want to make sure that the deck is ready and the cards are ready to go. So I'm trying to continuously tell myself that so I don't keep forgetting. Where do I want that? Here. Yes, I want that line there. And that one down there. So yeah. Getting ready for all those kinds of things. Basic adulting around here. Getting ready for spring and summer. It was pretty chilly today. And then it's going to be like really warm tomorrow. So insert migraines here. It's like a 20-degree difference basically in the next couple days. So we'll see how that goes over. Okay, do I want, I don't think I want the T to have that. And then maybe the couple, yeah, there's no stained glass up here yet. All right, whoops. RB's in the chat. Welcome to the stream. What are we up to this evening? What's happening? Not much, really. That's good too. That's kind of nice. I had a work event today and talking with some fellow co-workers. Some of them are like, I don't have a lot planned for the summer. I'm like, you know what? That's nice. It's nice not to be full of plans all the time. Sometimes it's just good to take a break. Oh, come on, you. There we go. Save. Okay, so when we're done this, we're just going to do some fun line art. Keep it really simple today, because it took a long time, but this sketch came together quickly once I removed my roadblocks. So let's keep it simple. It is late there, and that's okay. It's good that you're not working like a crazy person up into the evening. Evenings, sacred. I like it. Yes, yes. Make sure we're not too busy all the time. Excuse you. There we go. I try not to anymore. That's good. Yeah, so I find like finding little boundaries of time, like I really try and hold on to my weekends, keep them as sacred as I can. It's harder in the summertime when people are like doing all these kinds of things or there's trips and stuff coming up. So if I have a crazy weekend, I try and like make sure that the week is less crazy. But evenings are nice to keep chill. Unless it's necessary. I hear that because, you know, like my girlfriends and I, we do like a dinner club. So we'll go out in an evening. So I'm like, okay, that's an evening out, but it's a fun evening out. And sometimes it happens, but just finding that good balance. It also makes those like chill evenings like even that little bit sweeter, which is nice. In the summertime, I'm often out in the fields drawing. I love that. That is nice. I think it was last summer, Mojo and I did that a couple times. We just have like, I'm very lucky in that I have a very nice park space right where I live. And a couple times Mojo and I would go out and he'd just sit and watch everybody like he likes to do. And I would sit and draw. It was nice. We'll do that again some more this summer, I think. Well, actually it was 2 summers ago because last summer they were doing construction. So it was a little more challenging. It was pretty dusty to sit out there now that I think about it. And when I come back, I start working. I love doing landscapes. Awesome. That's super cool. I always like the colors behind a landscape, but I've never really been drawn to drawing a landscape. But I guess it would depend on where I am. I think where you are, you probably have some pretty epic landscapes. So, okie dokie. So, we're going to save this. Save it, please. And then I'm going to throw in my first palette. Because I'm finding that this guy has the range I need for the lines we need. I'm actually going to leave it there too, because I'm gonna oops, this one. Okay, so first we're going to erase this out of here. Oops, let's not do that. Okay, so let's get some of these laid out. Laying out the line art with this, like after I had the sketches, was a little bit chaotic because as I was starting the clock and kind of following what the book description was, I had all these sketches and bits and pieces on the sketch, but then when I decided to follow more of the elements that we've had in the cards, I just sketched over top of what I already had. So getting the line art was a little bit chaotic, but getting this vector line art, apologies, was a little bit chaotic, but we made it through. So I'm like, if I didn't have this cleaned up and this vector line art, I probably would have been working on a different card this evening instead, because it would have been very challenging to look at, because it was very challenging for me to work through. There weren't as many like of my clean cut decisive layers that I've had in the past, because as ideas were coming I was just throwing them onto the sketch, which is what the sketch layer is for. It made for a very chaotic inking process. What else is new? Mostly just plugging away. Lots of art. Gonna get my balcony ready soon so I can spend my evenings sketching on the balcony. That's always a good time. What did you miss? Welcome, Alessandra, to the chat. You were away a bit. Oh, I was just talking about your response to landscapes and things like that. Just been chillin'. Alessandra, what is new? How are things? I've seen your lovely streams pop up. You always pop up as I'm like going for groceries or something. What is going on? I've seen your Instagram updates though. Looks like you're having lots of fun. She disappeared silently, like RB did. Oh dear. Washing dishes again. They haven't learned how to do it themselves yet, eh? Sheesh. Same. I was doing dishes before we got here. It's non-stop. It's actually got to the point where I kind of forgot I do dishes. Like I went out earlier today, did some volunteering, and then did groceries on my way home. And then I got home and I was like, okay, I'm going to put all the dishes away, and then I'm going to put the groceries away. And the dishes were already put away because I forgot I did them at lunchtime. It was amazing. A lot of viewers yesterday on the stream. That's amazing. That's awesome. It's nice when you hit that sweet spot or you find lots of people. It's very cool when that happens. Hopefully some new followers, some new regulars coming in. That would be sweet. New friends. More money, less task. That'd be nice. Yeah, your streams always fall into the food category. Everybody's either like getting food or just finishing their food. Should get like a sponsorship from like the Food Network or something, because then like this episode is sponsored by Guy Fieri nachos. Burger time. Yummy. I love burgers. Big raid, 40 something people. Wow. And everybody stayed. That's amazing. That's awesome. I'm sure you did great. I'm sure it was amazing. Must have been a very busy chat. Definitely need a superstar mod like Mr. RB. Lightning speed. Boop, 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 boop. Oops. Yeah, I would lose track of that chat very quickly, but that's cool they all stayed. Woohoo! I can always keep thinking that I should add another stream to the week, get another day in here so I can catch some of the people on the other side of the pond where this is really, really, really late for them, but weeks always fill up so much. It's hard to squish one in. I'm trying to find a way to do just kind of a silent stream from my iPad like Behance used to do. Like you could stream right from Fresco. So I'm trying to find something like that. Oliver was your mom, but he was too busy watching NCIS to help it. That's hilarious. Yeah. So I'm trying to find a way to, just because like I'm very regularly sitting here on my iPad, like working away on the tarot cards or something else, where it could be like a nice extra stream in the week, but I don't want to be like set up the whole computer and everything like that. I just kind of want to silently stream from my iPad. So I'm trying to see what I can find there, but we'll see. Because that would be easy to add in because I'm already on the iPad. I'll figure it out. RB used to watch NCIS, but it became boring at some point. I think with a lot of the long-running shows like that, I feel like that's an inevitability. At least with some of the longer runner ones that I watched. Well, there were some that were pretty good, but that one's been on for a long time. It has like all kinds of spin-offs and all that kind of stuff. Some shows are just meant to be a couple seasons. They don't need to be 1,000 seasons. Oh yeah, I forgot that NCIS has all like the spin-offs and stuff too. Hard to keep track. Usually when they start preventing the nuclear war, I go away. And they're like, yeah, we've tapped out our ideas at this point. That's fair. There's a show here called 911, and I enjoy it because it's like emergency first responders and things like that, so it's like high energy and stuff, but we've got to a point where, because like the first few episodes or a couple seasons are kind of like you're focusing on the people and like the cases that they're following and just kind of like the chaos of that kind of stuff, but now it's the people, like the first responders that they're focusing on and like all the chaos that can happen to them. I'm like, Kate, can we just have like an episode where someone doesn't get kidnapped? That would be really nice. I watched the new Mario. Good for the people loving the lore. That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen the trailers for that and it looks pretty hilarious. yeah, it gets a little repetitive at some point. So I don't know. It's entertaining, but it's kind of like, I don't feel you have to watch that one. Yeah, I haven't seen the new Mario one. I've seen the one that came out before it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's pretty popular over here, the Mario movie. I do love some Mario lore. Okie dokie. Now this one's going to be really challenging as far as colors go. There's a lot happening, but I gotta make sure that I don't make it too busy with the colors or use too few, making it hard to read. So, and this is a black and white one because this is featured in the circus. So why not throw a challenge on top of another challenge? Just let's just go. Let's go. We have I was going through the cards that we have left to do. Lots of major arcana. This is a major arcana card. Quite a few of the major arcana are left. I think only like 2 tents are left. Like 1 circus one's left. And then we're into like the mood and magic ones, but we're coming down to it. We're getting pretty close. It's pretty exciting to see it come together. Boop, boop, boop. Let's save, shall we? Boop, boop. Pickles. There's a lot going on with this one, so we have to be really careful with our shadows and all the things. We have to proceed with caution. Oops. What else is everybody up to this evening? What's our plan for the week? What's our art goals for the week? My art goals for the week are more tarot things. I have a couple cards on the go right now. I have this card on the go and another one that's set for, it's for the mood suit. It's kind of a long description, so I won't get into it without the visuals just yet. But it should be launched and ready for next week. And then more tarot content. Yeah, that's most of my art business for the week. Get some social media stuff done. All that kind of chaos. I do wish past Erin would stop making so many big unbroken circles on her cards. There's like the 3rd or 4th card in a row where I've got these big lines that I don't want to be all like shaky and bumpy, and I only work on them after I've had like 3 cups of coffee. Why past me? Why? Okay, now part of me was gonna do a lot of outlines Like I was going to outline the feathers and stuff, but let's just outline the other clock first and see what we have before we, excuse me, fill it up too much. I don't want to make it too busy. Oops. The best part about digital is you can always add or take away. Use those layers to your advantage. But I'm just building slowly here to see what we need to make the card as clear as possible. Because like I said, and as you can see, a lot more going on in this card than some of our others. And for good reason. Oops. Pew, pew, pew. Has anyone seen, or talking about movies and stuff, Project Hail Mary yet? I feel like I talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's freaking awesome. Movies like that, why I go to the movies. Super good. Okay, let me see here. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, we are going to add a few more highlights in here. Now these aren't going to be outlined all in the same way, like we're going to do the usual kind of sticker outlines, I've been calling them, around the sections that we just did. I think some of these pieces just need a little bit more help as far as some outlines for clarity. But we're not going to make all of these stickers. These are just going to be supporting lines. To help make sure everything is nice and clear. There's a pretty solid delay on the iPad there. Oh dear, don't reset the thing. There we go. Yeah, a bit of a delay. Okay, I'll try and clean that up for next week. One thing at a time. Facebook was busted last week, so I fixed it. iPad's a little leggy on the output, so I'll try and fix that for next week. Tiny bites. Tiny bites. feathers in the teapot. So I'll put the teapot here. Now there are some spaces that seem to be empty spaces, but I have plans for those, so don't worry. I just need the color palettes to go in first. Oh, come on here. Okay, let's just try all of it again. There we go. Oh, come on here. Yes, all the saves. Well, this is, pen's getting a little glitchy. I think I actually need to replace the pen tip, to be honest. She gets a little glitchy. Once we get going. Oh gosh, forgot how to draw. Pew, pew. Alessandra, do you have a stream schedule coming up that we can send out to people who are lurking? I have a lot of problems with that on Fresco on Windows. Yeah, I've seen Dan run into that a couple times too. This has kind of just started recently. I noticed it either when the iPad gets a little hot if it's sitting on my lap, or the file's getting really big. But I also feel like the pen, like my Apple Pencil, like usually I can just unscrew the tip of the pencil and screw it back on and everything stops doing that. So I think I just have to get a new tip to the pencil probably, because I haven't purchased a new one since I got it, so we'll see. All right, for everybody who wants to follow Alessandra's streams, I'm going to try 2 days during the week, Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 or 7:30, and Saturday and Sunday at 1. But not this weekend. I have another art event. So what is this art event? Do you have to travel for it? Are you ready? It's very exciting. Yes and yes. Woohoo! Hang on one sec. Sorry, he woke up from his nap and he didn't know where he was. Excellent. I'm glad you're all ready. That's super cool. Yeah, like I've intentionally taken the spring and summer off from markets so that I can finish the tarot deck properly and not be rushing and be doing like stocking of things and everything else at the same time. But I'm a little bit concerned about when I have to get back to it, get back to the art events. I'll be like, I forget how to do all this. How do I set up my booth? Where is my stuff? I know it'll be fine. Oh dear, try again. Oops. I'm going to do a ton of art events this year, but I'm going to have May off and just focus on May and June off to focus on making stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to have that kind of break a little bit, because I find if I'm doing everything at once, like the stocking and the creating and the printing and the tagging if that's required, all that kind of stuff, it can all really build up, and I find I lose track of certain things, especially like admin type stuff. So it makes it harder when you have to get back to that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's good to have some time off. I'm glad you're doing that. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, we have some minutes left, rather than continue outlining, you've seen me do those outlines before. We're going to do some color here, because I think that's going to take some time. So first we're going to select multiple layers, and I'm just selecting the line art, not those overlays that we just did. The only reason why I do that is so that, like, because we've seen sometimes there's like right up against the line, like I can adjust the tolerance so that that line, the color goes right up really close to that line. But sometimes, especially on something more detailed like this, sometimes that edge is a little bit more apparent. So I want to keep those dark black outlines there to kind of overlap and cover up some of that if I can. So I selected all my art and my stained glass lines. We're going to duplicate those, and while they're still selected, I'm going to merge them. I'm going to move this outside of our group right on top and make it our reference layer, and then hide it, so that, because we don't need two sets of lines. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but like when you turn it on, it doubles it up. And I think when you make it a reference, it pixelates it. Yes, it does. So it pixelates it. So once you merge everything and layer, it doesn't keep that nice crisp vector line. So I don't want that in the illustration. Otherwise I would have drawn them as pixel lines, but it'll just maintain that reference for me. So we'll turn those guys back on, so there are nice crisp lines. But then we can, that reference is what is going to guide the color. So we're going to start with this guy. Create empty mask and filter it, because I have many plans for this. So we'll zoom in and you can see those white pixels. That's the line I was talking about. So how we can remedy that is by doing our color margin. Drag that guy almost all the way up and then fill it again. I don't fill it all the way up because that's too far and it doesn't start factoring in my lines anymore. So it's always like just outside of the top there, and then it goes to the edge and it starts factoring my lines, and I don't have to kind of go in and redraw a bunch of things. But it's factoring in what I need it to factor in now. And I could always go in and like touch up some of them, but I think these are doing pretty well. The only reason why I go back and check is because there was one card I did, I think it was the High Priestess card. For some reason I couldn't make the margins work nicely at all. I couldn't get them to kind of play the game. There was always that like white edge, so I off stream went in and cleaned up a bunch of them because I don't know whether it's just the level of detail. There were a lot of like feathers and things, so maybe that's what. Oh, there's a broken line here. So what if I do this? Bring it down. There we go. So sometimes like that, like there might be a little bit of a break, but that color margin is going to tell you, it's going to tell Fresco how much of that, like the line to consider and how much to just kind of ignore in very, very basic terms. So I'll see this happen again here. Hide. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, so generally all the cards have been playing the game, but there was just that, like the High Priestess one, she was having a hard time. She was struggling a bit. All right, okay, so let's get some colors in here. So we're gonna, not files, we wanna do photos. So I know a few of the colors that we need. I'm gonna throw a bunch of color in here and then suck all the color out. So the card itself is described as black and white, as like a white face. Factoring in, we definitely need the red. So lots of black and white. I'm going to try and use some of our higher contrast cards. And by cards, I mean patterns. So that it's very clear what's happening. Because I like these, yeah, photos. These have come out really well in that these paper patterns have held up really well and that their contrast works really well. But I want to make sure that in this case, it's a very black and white scenario. Now I'm wondering if we want, I just want to make sure there's a good solid contrast. So I'm thinking maybe I'll put one in with the words. I was thinking of some of the one that has those, like the line paper without words, but I think that's too similar to some of the other ones we've chosen. So we'll choose, yeah, we'll do this guy. I just want to be really conscious of the contrast in this one, again, because there's so much in it, but also that will be my way of kind of honoring the card as is. All right, so actually, no, let's, invert, create empty mask, invert, create empty mask, invert. And then same here, invert, okay. And then up top here, I always like turning off the color of the layers before, like after I have all the color in there, but then I get in love with some of the colors and I get upset when I take the color out. So just to show though anybody here who's lurking who hasn't seen this before, I'm going to invert my layer, my mask again here. But you can see now it's a black and white card instead of a color, like there's instead of color in there. So if I turn off this layer, the hue saturation that I did, that keeps the color. And then if I put that, turn that back on, it turns every card, every layer underneath into a black and white. If I indent it here, it'll just affect that one layer. If I leave it here, everything underneath is going to be black and white. So that's good because that keeps everything for sure black and white underneath, and I want the red there to pop. So that'll ensure that I don't have any accidental color in there. And I've done that on every other card. What is the size of this card? It is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. Because the final card is 2.75 by 4.75, so I'm making them intentionally bigger. And sorry, we got someone trying to come in, but RB banned them. No ads here, man. So the art itself right now is banished. So the size of the card itself in the end is going to be 2.75 by 4.75, so about this size here. But I'm doing the art bigger so I have it available for prints, and also I can get this finer detail in, which I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Okay, so all of this is black and white. So like I said, I kind of usually like to throw all the color in and then take the color out because it's kind of like a magic trick. But I have found with a few cards lately, I fall in love with the colors and then kind of get bummed when I take them all out. All the colors out and be like, oh, it doesn't bounce the way I want it to. Now I'm kind of thinking, oh, we got to put in this guy too. So we're going to definitely have the red. No, I was thinking I was going to throw in some color on like one of the feathers, have it have color, but that we're too late in the suits to do something like that. I almost did something like that. Was it the fire artist that's out this week? When I was drawing her, I was like, oh, I'll put the characters that are standing in the scene, I'll make them like some of the gold colors. And I was like, that's, yes, they would have color because they're people from outside the circus, but I've already established a rapport that would not allow for that to happen, and it's look consistent with the cards. So I'm at that point where my brain's kind of innovating, but I'm not holding myself back, but I want to stick to the style. So it's, again, I'm not limiting myself really, but I'm also not making sure that things are going to be consistent throughout. Okay. So let's start filling some of these guys here. We're going to do the oh, geez. Just gotta be careful not to hit the line. That fills everything else in. Okay, so this, oh, pickles. It's gonna be a long game. Oh, something's busted. Hang on. Oh, don't love it though. Okay. Because I think because there was so much detail in these clock sketches, I definitely, instead of erasing everything, I did a mask. And not all of that's perfect because masks are done with pixel brushes. So I think there's a couple little breaks that I wasn't anticipating. Can I do a little bit more here? Oops. So I think there's a few unexpected breaks in there that are causing it to be a little bit more challenging to fill. Okay, and then we've got to all the tiny details. Thank goodness I have this. I found this fill approach. Otherwise, you guys would be watching me erase for days or tiny hand paint everything for days. Okay. Excellent. And I think we'll do this on the outside. Not enough contrast, so we're gonna do this. Let's see, this one's gonna be a lot of trial and error, I suspect, to ensure that balance. Okay, okay, looking good. So now, what's this one? This one's this one? Okay. So I'm thinking we do this. Oops. And I think we'll do this in the contrast. There's gonna be a lot of shadows on this guy. We're going to really keep, oops, try a third time. There we go. Keep things under control here. And I also want to add the other red in. I thought I was going to do just one, but I like when we have things back to back that can have the contrast of the two reds, like one slightly more orange. I really like the red pattern that I have in here already. And this one's a little more on the orange side, but they balance each other out nicely. All right, Alessandra's on her way out. Okay, good luck with your show this weekend. I hope you have an excellent evening. Good luck. I'll try and catch some of your streams this week, but not Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so let's get some red in here. Pew, pew. This one. So I like the richness of the dark on red on this one. Oops, not that one. And then this. See, past me did this to me. Oh, okay, one more. Okay, fine. We'll do this then. Okay, and then we'll do this one. Oops, this one. No, thank you. There we go. Okay. These are also going to be red. Let's get the red I prefer here. Oops, that's good. Oh dear. If you hit the line, it makes a bit of a mess. Oops. This. I like having the two in place because you can kind of go back and forth as you find patterns developing, etc. Ooh, yeah, those are gonna be good. Oh. Okay. Now I'm gonna do this. white edge. There'll be more contrast around the edge after when I start putting in some colors and things. So not to worry there. And then we have, I'm actually going to put this as our black. And then this as our other black. Nope. And then where's this one? No. Who put all these tiny pieces in here? Who made this decision? They seem like a lot. Okay. Where's the black? This one looks like I have a missing piece here. Okay, so what I think we'll do is this one. It's not a wicked level of contrast right now, but I also think that once we get into shadows, etc., we're gonna be fine. Hide layer, bring it down a bit, reveal. Okay. Okay, bro. Thank you. Okay, I think what we're gonna do here is now and then where's this one? And then we have the pattern I haven't used yet. This one. This one. Maybe. Okay, okay. Not necessarily. Some words in here. Now I'm fairly certain, and they don't always necessarily line up exactly this way, but a lot of the paper patterns I chose, they have a similar text on them, so you can see they kind of almost line up here a little bit. The F's are a little bit misaligned and stuff, but it's kind of cool to see them line up between different patterns. Okay, I really want this to be, where is, this is the black one. I keep picturing these guys in a darker environment. And then this one, again, this is going to kind of look a little bit weird right now, but I'm fairly certain that once we get into our shadows and our stained glass, they're gonna pop the way I'm picturing. Now, these feathers, what the heck are we gonna do here? So I think this has to be part of this. Don't have any of this pattern on this side. Trying to have it be a little bit, oops, random. And then maybe this one to balance her out. Not to be too dramatic about it. And we'll do black. And then what do we have? All right, thanks RB. I'm just about done. I hope you have a really good night, and I'll see you next week. Where's my teacup? Okay, this one. And then maybe we'll do this then. Okay, cool. All right, oops. And then because I will miss this much later, boop. Alrighty, so let's hit save, and I'll show you what everything looks like when you turn off the hue saturation. So what that does when you edit this, excuse me, turn it back on, you see I've turned the saturation all the way down. So normally it's at 0. So that's what the paper patterns will look like if I just threw them in just as is. You can get them hyper saturated if you want to, absolutely not, or take all the color out. So as I've said before, like what that does is that guarantees there's no color in here at all, because I really want it to be black and white when I am doing this, just because that's how the rest of the cards have it. It's a really good way to ensure that it stays that black and white for me. And then it's ready to go. So I think that this is a logical breaking point for the evening. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in. Thank you Antoine for hanging all the way to the end, and anybody else who might be lurking. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, RB, Alessandra, and everybody else who might just be hanging out on the side. I do appreciate you. I'll probably be back with more tarot next week. If all the stars align, it will be a new card, but hopefully this guy will be ready for us to look at. So yeah, we'll hopefully have a new card to look at next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rewatching if that's what you're doing. And I hope you all have a great evening. I'll talk to you all soon, guys. Bye.